And we are live. The line is hot. Boston Mike on a week
baby.
0 Saturday. The boys are back in town. Brought to you here by Summit Sports and our amazing sponsors, Summit Sports Cards and Cruises by Amy Perrin. We are live here on a week 0 Saturday in anticipation of my now local Georgia Bulldogs getting ready to play the Marshall Thundering Herd. Boston Mike, how are you, man? We are live. We're going to be giving some picks out today right ahead of the opening Saturday game slate of week 0. What's going on?
Do you like my humble abode in Happy Valley?
Very slick. I do like it a lot.
Ranked Penn State. Number 2. Listen, and how did they split votes with Texas for number 1? My humble little lowly Nittany Lions, ranked number 2 preseason, and number 1 has to play Ohio State today.
Hey, that bodes well for you.
Happy,
hey, you
buddy.
did lose your best player though.
Come on, man. Listen, he got traded to the Green Bay Packers. Parsons been gone for a while.
What about your boy that went? What was he number 1 overall? The end.
I wanted Abdul Carter to go to the Patriots so bad. I really did, but whatever. It is what it is. Hey, listen, here we go. Penn State. Listen, Drew Lock, man. Hey, I'm going to talk about him a little bit in the Heisman. He might be my dark horse coming up. If he can run this table and get Penn State into that playoff, man. I mean, damn. Yeah, I'm excited. Ooh, I'm so excited.
I'm excited too, man. We got a quick show today. We're going to talk a little bit about expectations for the conference schedule, kind of who we expect to come out of the individual, power conferences. We're going to talk a little bit about maybe, our expectations for what teams we expect to be there at the end in the now expanded field of the tournament. And we're also going to spend a couple minutes about the Heisman watch as we are getting ready to now the first real weekend of college football. Of course, we had a couple games Thursday and Friday. And then, of course, we'd be remiss to not give out our top plays for the sports betting, obviously, Saturday. So we wanted to go live right up to kickoff here. A lot of the big games of the day are in the 12 o'clock slate, as well as the early afternoon slate between like 2 and 4. So we want to talk about those. And I will say yesterday to start off, we went 2 for 2 on picks. Our top play of the game, our top play of the day was Georgia Tech money line, as well as I gave out Georgia Tech buying a point and doing -2.5, figuring obviously, me, I always like to know that you're going to probably win by a field goal at least in any type of football game. But we bought a little bit of value, and we actually caught it after the kickoff went live. And I don't know if you know this, but you actually gave us Georgia Tech getting 2 points as Colorado, Deion-led Colorado, was coming down the field. So I actually had +2. I don't even think you knew that. That's just what the line was when you took it from me. So that's what we're going to talk about. But
I think when I slid the slider, I might not have done -2.5. I might have done +2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, my fault. Anyway. But listen, did you see the end of that game anyway?
Yeah, almost Colorado potting a touchdown at the very end, like falling short. That was nice.
He wasn't almost. That guy called a timeout. At least one timeout, dude. Like that whole last. I'm sitting there like, all right, they're up 7. I thought you were giving 2.5. So for real, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh man, like if they come down, score, and tie it up, it's probably field goal, whatever. Man, that could be bad. But then I'm like thinking, he's not calling a timeout. Like what does he do? Then all of a sudden, it's 3rd and short or whatever. Like these guys are like scrambling around, like they just didn't have it. I don't know. And then Coach Prime, Coach Prime came to watch us. They came to watch us win. They came to watch us lose, but they came to watch us, right? Like that to see. Like it's game 1, man. Like you're down 7 with the ball. Like that's where you don't want to be there, but I mean, you're there. Be happy. Call a timeout. Get your guys to group them up. I mean, they were just like disheveled. But good win for by 9.5.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, it's week 0, and that's the thing is it's always tough. I mean, let's be honest. Like betting in itself is always a tough situation. It's never easy, and that's why we always warn you only bet what you have because goofy stuff happens. But it's the same thing. Like week 1 of the NFL is a liar, as we always talk about. We'll talk about more of that in a quick second. But yeah, week 0 of college is like none of these teams are hitting at full cylinders. They're still, to a certain extent, trying new starters at several key positions on both sides of the ball. So it's just hard to bet, but that's why I was happy to get a win. But yeah, I mean, to that effect, I want to get right into it because we're going to have a fairly short show here leading up to 12 o'clock kickoff in the East. I want to give you quickly the AP and coaches top 25 poll, and then we'll be happy to kind of walk quickly through which one of the top 25, who they're playing and time slots, maybe talk a little bit about our favorite picks, if any there, and then we'll talk about the Heisman.
Yeah, for sure.
So AP poll first, you got number 1, Texas, Penn State 2, Ohio State 3, Clemson 4, my now Georgia Bulldogs, number 5, Notre Dame 6, Oregon 7,
it.
Bama 8,
I love it.
LSU 9, the U 10, Arizona State. Nice to see them way up high in the rankings. It's pretty impressive for an upstart program in the last couple of years, gaining a lot of traction at 11. A team that we loved to bet on last year quite a bit, Illinois at 12, high, prolific offense there. Expect big things from them. 13, South Carolina, another rising program. 14, Michigan. 15, the Gators. 16, SMU, another high-flying offense. 17, Kansas State. 18, Oklahoma. 19, Texas A&M. 20, Indiana. 21, a team that another team that Georgia will be seeing. I probably will be at this game later this season. Ole Miss at 21, Iowa State 22, Texas Tech 23. A team that we'll see later today make their debut against my Syracuse Orange, Tennessee at 24. And to close it out, the team that cost me some money on Thursday opening night, Boise State number 25, who will not be there, I promise you, after a throttling that they were handed to by my former city team, USF, at the Tampa Bay Bucs Stadium. They got smoked. So, Mike, any initial thoughts? Obviously, your Penn State boys are number 2 there.
Let's go back to that Boise State. He can't be your scapegoat. Remember, you also had Duke given 35.5, right? What did I tell you?
That was Billy the Kid's. That was Billy the Kid's pick. I can't take credit for that.
Listen, week 1 is tough. They played Elon last year, week 1. They won maybe by 20, right? They were going to win. They were going to win by 25 points, but 35.5 week 1 is just hard. I almost think like I told you the other day, we're going to go underdogs week 1 next year. We're going to do every single underdog. I think one of them will at least cover. A lot of these games are going to be close. It's these guys with these big spreads, man, to come out. I mean, think about it. Your number whatever in the country, and you got your spread's 35. If you don't cover that, do you feel inadequate, or do you win by 29 and move on? Right? I mean, so I don't know. Yeah. The spread to me, week 1's kind of tough, dude.
It is, and that's the thing. Is not many teams, especially on offensive side of things. They say especially in training camp, we look at the Bills, Patriots, whoever it is. The defense is always ahead of the offense. And, the offense takes some time to get in rhythm. It really kind of holds water in this situation, this conversation as well. Your offense is never going to be hitting on full cylinders at this time of year. So I think there's some merit to that. And maybe that will, I don't know, maybe that will affect some of the picks that we give out today or not. But no, you're right. The offense is usually a little bit behind at this point. But initial thoughts. Love to see your boys up at number 2. Yeah.
Think about this though, right? You got a team that's real high up, right? Now, like I said the other day or earlier, they're going to have D1 guys on their line, offense, defense. They're playing Elon, right? Elon, right? Might have some D2 type of guys, D3. The level isn't there. They come out and they dominate, but they don't dominate enough, right? I mean, everything's style points, and I know the good thing about college football is that you can have these type of, lackluster, not that it's Don't get me wrong. Like Duke played a great game and won the game outright. The problem is they just didn't win by enough to get you in your pocketbook where you needed to be, right? So are we coming at this from a monetary point of view? They're very disappointing opening week 1. We're coming at it from a football fan point of view. You took care of business against Elon, you're moving on, right? So I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a toss-up, dude.
It is. And I wanted to shout out, quickly as we transition into the top 25. A couple interesting matchups today for sure. I'm going to bring those up quick. And as I do that, I wanted to give some shout out and some love to your squad. Number 2, Penn State. Give us quickly, as somebody who's an active follower, with Georgia, I'm someone who's starting to follow the team, being that I'm local. So this is going to be my first year actually following them on a game-to-game basis. I've always kind of admired them from afar. Co-host Marcus Dowden's an alumnus. He went to Georgia. So I'm going to be between the hedges a couple times this year in person, I think. We're going to get to some games. But, yeah, tell us, give us your thoughts on, obviously, losing Abdul Carter is big for the defense. But you have a great quarterback, which we'll talk about in a second, as far as the top 8 Heisman candidates for this season. We got a couple quarterbacks, got a couple receivers, some running backs. But your guy, Drew Allar, quarterback from Penn State. What are your thoughts as far as how far they can go?
Listen, man. I love Drew Allar. I liked Kerry Collins back in the day, right? Like, there are all these quarterbacks that, they've had there. I mean, they just don't get us to the game. They don't get us to the, to the promised land. Can Drew Allar do it, right? I mean, guy's 6'5", 235. Right, and he's from Ohio. He's local, right? He's got no distractions. He's coast coming over. He's a local kid to the area, right? Ohio Valley, right? Penn State. Let's go. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping, right? I mean, there are a couple other Heisman candidates when you looking at quarterbacks, right? I mean, I don't know is he going to be the best quarterback in the country? I'm not sure. I think for Penn State to win the national title, he has to be the best quarterback in the country. And I don't know if he's going to be the Heisman winner. I mean, I hope he is. I hope he is. But think about it, man. We're in a conference now with Ohio State again every year, right? I mean, you're going back to I got PTSD with Ohio State, right? And George and those guys. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a tough conference. I think if Ohio State wins today and beats Texas, that's going to be, a march to that Ohio State Penn State map.
For sure. No, I'm going to be rooting for them. Kind of a local team to us, being from Buffalo, Penn State, driven by the campus.
I'm so non-committal. Listen, I'm so non-committal. I love to get into these seasons, and I love to get through them. It's so hard though, man. Like when you're a fan of it, it's even tougher, right? I mean, you know.
For sure. But yeah, I want to quickly, before we want to get into some picks, and everybody's probably tuning in to get their picks off. Mike will also, we're going to put a live bet in right now. So Mike, go ahead and get a quick shout out to Fanatics Sportsbook.
All right, here we go.
But I want to just quickly talk about, so here's the top 25, the main matchups for the slate. Obviously, we already discussed Thursday was the bludgeoning beatdown of South Florida over 25th ranked Boise State. See you later, Boise State. You're not going to be in the top 25 anymore. 34-7, complete just beatdown. Crazy games. You got number 1 Texas today. Probably one of probably the marquee matchup for sure. Texas, number 1 at number 3 Ohio State at noon. Getting ready to watch that. We have number 2 Penn State at Nevada at 3:30. You have 4 Clemson at number 9 LSU. Another top 10 matchup. Love that. We got my Georgia Bulldogs, number 5. With the new starting quarterback.
We're signed in. We're ready to go.
All right. We have Georgia versus Marshall at 3:30, a game that I'll definitely be watching with some of my colleagues over here in the tree houses. We got number 7 Oregon versus Montana State at 4. Number 8 Bama at Florida State. I'm thinking there's going to be a top play there that I'll be giving out. 11 Arizona State versus Northern Arizona. That's a late game, West Coast tonight at 10. Number 14 Michigan versus New Mexico at 7:30. The Gators, number 15 versus Long Island. Good luck. 7 p.m. there. 16 SMU versus East Texas A&M. That's at 9. Kansas State, which is 17th, versus North Dakota at 7 o'clock. Number 18, Oklahoma versus Illinois State. Number 19, Texas A&M versus UT San Antonio. That's at 7 o'clock, a little bit earlier, surprisingly there. 20th, Indiana versus Old Dominion. That's at 2:30, an afternoon game. 21, Ole Miss versus Georgia State tonight at 7:45. And then last but not least, rounding out the slate, you have 22, Iowa State. I did it again. I keep saying Ohio State. Iowa State versus South Dakota at 3:30. And then 23, Texas Tech versus Arkansas Pine Bluff. That's a basketball school. And then finally, at least and definitely not least, number 24, Tennessee versus my basketball school, Syracuse, and a game that is in Atlanta, a neutral site game. That's also a 12 o'clock start. So, Mike, obviously, Penn State, with your allegiances is a big game. I'm going to be looking at Georgia. Both those games are at 3:30. Yeah. But beside Texas at Ohio State, 1-3, what's your most enticing game on the schedule this week?
Well, so put it this way. As I look through the top 25, I look at it from another little lens, right? So who's playing a tough game and who's playing pancakes, right? So if you're playing a pancake, I walk by you. If you're playing a tough game, I kind of stop to think about you, right? I mean, if you look down here, I think the toughest game, it might be the most competitive, and I say this not disrespecting Ohio State, Texas, but I think the LSU Clemson game to me is going to be top 10 matchup. That's going to be a real hot contested game. And I also like you go down the schedule here, Notre Dame, Miami, right? Tough games, right? Think about it. Yeah. All four of those games have high aspirations, right? So the loser of this, and like we said earlier, right? You can do and you can lose week 1, right? Obviously, the college football, and now that the playoff is right, it's rewarding these people at the end of the year. But, these guys can come back. They don't want to have to dig out of a hole, though, right? So those are the 4 teams that I look at as far as 10 teams. Obviously, Ohio State and Texas has been, built up for the last, month, 2 months. I mean, that is what it is. What do you think?
So the game I'm really watching, and I'll preface this by just being honest. Cuse is my team. Cuse is my basketball team. If you follow Boston Mike and I, you know that we go to a game. We went to see Cooper Flag and Duke destroy Syracuse last year at the Dome, the JMA Dome, formerly the Carrier Dome. But yeah, I don't have an allegiance to them as far as football goes. I just don't. But they've been a very scrappy team with a lot of talent on both offense and defense the last couple of years. They always seem to be, I'd say recently the football team was outperforming the basketball team for sure, which wasn't the case for a long time. Then you had the Donovan McNabb Syracuse years. Then you kind of had just some marginal Syracuse teams when the basketball program under Boeheim really just took off and were always in the tournament and getting far in the tournament, like in the 2000s, 2010s. And now they've just been kind of role reversed where Syracuse is more right now anyway, a football program. Now, with that being said, they do play a really kind of potent, at least offensively. Tennessee's a solid team. They got athletes, SEC athletes on both sides of the ball. That spread, and I don't want to get into picks yet, but it spreads it's 2 touchdowns. And it'll be interesting. I've kind of waffled back and forth with this game today. Like, it's the kind of a head and heart type of pick, where my heart says like Syracuse is scrappy and is going to be able to hang around, especially in week 0. But when I kind of look at it, just with the talent that Tennessee has, and obviously being ranked, granted they're ranked on the bottom end at 24 right now in the initial top 25. I think Tennessee has enough to maybe pull away in the second half by more than the 2 scores. But to pause on that, I do want to get into and keep it moving. We want to do a little bit of Heisman talk because we talked about your guy, Drew Allar, Penn State quarterback, who's in the actual top 8 in terms of the Heisman watch. But I'm going to give you a quick a rundown of at least by many publications, the top contenders of the award. And I'd just like to hear about some of your thoughts and who you think will end up winning it. And granted, this is before watching any games this year, but that's why we do it. So some prognosticating. So number one, top contender, Arch Manning, who we're going to see live and in action today for the first time, really. QB of Texas. He enters into the 2025 campaign as the odds-on favorite, and for good merit. Amazing team, number one team in the country, great on both sides of the ball. So usually, whoever the quarterback of that type of team that's as talented as they are is going to be in the conversation. Also, the bloodlines, I don't really need to talk about that. He's going to be there. Is he the top guy at the end? I don't know. Cade Klubnik, QB from Clemson. Clemson back to being, after a little bit of a drop-off in years past recently, a contender this year again. It's a top-end team, a lot of talent on the offensive side under Dabo Swinney. Another third QB, and not to be forgotten, a team you just talked about, LSU QB Garrett Nussmeier. He is there, and he's also has a coach, Brian Kelly, who was, been considered a guru of quarterbacks of sort. He was obviously Jaden Daniels' QB coach when Jaden Daniels was at LSU. So we see what he can do. So a new kid to tutor with that offense. So he obviously has a decent chance. Two receivers that I really like that are explosive and dynamic. A guy who not to give away any previews, but a guy who might be my favorite, Jeremiah Smith, the receiver from Ohio State. Guy was electric last year, 1,300 yards plus, 15 touchdowns. Not to be surprised if he reduplicates those numbers, and not more, with Julian Sayin, the quarterback at Ohio State, who's looking to pick up with Ohio State and really step into the lineup and be dynamic. He's going to be obviously looking for Smith a lot. And then the other guy, kid I loved last year a lot, Ryan Williams, the receiver from Alabama. So smaller type of guy, but freakishly athletic, kind of similar to like a Devontae Smith for the Eagles. He had decent numbers last year, but he was still, he blossomed later into the season. He had 48 catches for 865 and 8 touches. And he really was starting to hit towards like the playoff time of year. So I expect him to be right there. Alar, we talked about. Happy to have you kind of, sell him a bit more for our listeners. Sellers, the QB from South Carolina, who's really helped. He's more somewhat like a Cam Newton type of guy. He does it on the ground and through the air, but a very talented player and has really elevated that program into a top 20 team. So he's going to obviously be there. And then one more guy, Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame. He is obviously the top running back who's going to be considered, at least at this juncture. But yeah, Mike, out of those 8 guys, who's your favorite? Who do you like, and how do you see it shaking out when all is said and done?
Well, I mean, put it this way, man. Like, we're talking about Arch Manning. Everyone obviously, has been talking about him, the pedigree, Peyton, Eli, Archie. I don't know. Like, I mean, I think a favor. Week 1 at Ohio State. I mean, like, what's happening here? I don't know. I mean, obviously he's giving them a good springboard. Either one of those players you mentioned, Smith or Manning, that game's going to springboard one of those guys. Like, it's funny, like you go to like running backs, right? I like Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. But I think, dude, I mean, like, let's think about it. I did bring this up, and I wanted to be accurate about it. When we were preparing for the show, I was going to tell you that, Lisa, we all know that this is a quarterback award, right? And I'm thinking like, is it a quarterback award? It seems like it is. So I go back and I'm like, yeah, I was right? Jaden Daniels won it. Caleb Williams won it. Bryce Young won it, right? But who were the finalists those years, right? Look at that. Jaden Daniels win. Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Martin Harrison Jr., okay, awesome wide receiver, right? Caleb Williams wins the Heisman. Max Duggan, TCU, CJ Stroud, Stetson Bennett, right? Bryce Young wins the Heisman, right? Aiden Hutchinson, great year that year, but you got Kenny Pickett, CJ Stroud, right? So think about it. Like, we're gonna call the spade a spade, dude. Like, it's gonna be 4 quarterbacks at the end of the night and 1 position player. That's my prediction. I think Arch Manning will win it. I think he's got it in his blood. And no slight to Drew. Like I said, I'm going for Drew this year. But if I was to pick a front runner right now, it's going to be Arch Manning. personally.
Yeah. I think so.
Think about this. Hold on. Not so fast.
Not so fast.
And you know,
shout out to Lee Corso
and
in
listen,
his last
I
episode.
do that. Shameless plug to Lee Corso. Yes, my friend. Awesome. I mean, just that whole aura of College Game Day, is one of the things that led me into growing passion for, talking about sports. Putting on the helmets and all the mascot heads. I mean, just iconic. I would love to give a shout out to Lee Corso. Yes.
Yeah.
But not so fast. Quarterbacks on that list. Sean, who did you leave off your Heisman list? Your friend and mine from Nebraska.
Raiola.
Your boy Dylan, right? Listen, he started
1-0.
season
1-0.
He's one of these guys. He at least got a game under his belt. Let's see, 2 for 3, 2 touches. Wow. Look at that.
I'm
starting
a big
out
fan.
strong. 33
I'm a
42.
big fan.
Wow. That's hey, we got to talk too. I had a guy wanted to buy your card from you, by the way.
What?
We do have to talk about that. Sean pulled a really nice. Yes. It was funny. You go through these Facebook groups and no one ever is looking for a Dylan Raiola card. All of a sudden, I'm scrolling through. This guy is looking for a Dylan Raiola. I showed him your, short print number to 25, and he won. Yeah. I forgot to tell you that.
Not so fast, my friend. Not for sale. I bought in early on Raiola. He comes from NFL bloodlines. His dad was a long time starting Pro Bowl caliber lineman for the Lions. So I know about that because of my dad. Shout out to Pop being a huge Lions fan. I think he's got Heisman, if not this year. I think he's only a sophomore this year, I believe, unless he redshirted, I forget. But I believe there will be a Heisman in his future. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year or beyond. And I do think he'll be a top quarterback drafted into the NFL. He's just that talented. But just to kind of put a bow on this conversation, so the Heisman conversation, I have a couple tracks. I obviously think I'm with you, Arch Manning. I think perception-wise, PR-wise, it's always about the story for the Heisman. It's easy to pick Arch Manning, especially if they go all the way, that even if he doesn't have the best statistics. It's kind of like the Josh Allen MVP type of thing. You do the most for your team, or you play with the best team, whatever it is.
For him to win it, though, Sean, for him to win this, he has to come out today and dominate.
Yes.
I think so.
And I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to segue into something about that. But yeah, just to finish my thought. Okay, so I agree with you. Arch Manning, easily the favorite, and I think for good reasons. All the narratives are right. Who I actually like and who I'm kind of like rooting for and believe has a legitimate shot is Jeremiah Smith. I think he's awesome. Receivers don't usually win the award. You have to put up some crazy gaudy numbers, but I think he can do it. And I expect Ohio State. They've kind of overperformed. And I mean, it's hard to even say that, but they kind of just certain years, like the last 2 years, I think they kind of like fade into a little bit of just normalcy. And you kind of forget that they have a lot of like NFL talent, especially on like defense, which keeps them in. And then for whatever reason, receivers too. They kind of have some ho-hum talent in other positions. Yeah. It's just how my kind of thoughts on them watching from a distance. But yeah, I just feel like if he could put up those kind of gaudy numbers again and improve upon it, which I think he's definitely going to, you could see a guy with like Randy Moss type numbers that year with the Patriots where he puts up, 20 plus touchdowns. That'd be hard to ignore, especially if the team success can follow with it. And then one other guy, again, I kind of mentioned this too, and I was setting myself up, I guess, and he would not be a dark horse at all to win this award, but the guy that I feel could be the kind of the sleeper in this group is Nussmeier from LSU. He has Brian Kelly, like I mentioned. They've always been since Joe Burrow and before. They have been a prolific. They know how to recruit receivers and quarterbacks and pitch and catch. They've just always have some really strong connections. So I like him as kind of the dark horse, pick that people aren't talking as much about, even though he's definitely firmly in the conversation. So we'll kind of leave it there. But Mike, moving on, post the Heisman conversation, I know we do want to give out some best bets for today. People are getting ready to sit down in the next 10 minutes to watch their game. So I want to put our bet in for today.
11:56.
Talk about best bets. So our first pick of the day, Mike, and Mike, I do want you. Mike's going to we're going to put our money where our mouth is. I got about $200 to bet right now from winnings from our bet yesterday with Georgia Tech. Mike, our first pick, and it's a perfect segue of what you mentioned. We're going to go ahead and take Texas money line. We're going to show Arch Manning's going to come out in a huge game, huge stage on the road. And, well, yeah, he's on the road, right? Yeah. And we're going to take Texas money line to win the game as our pick number 1. So go ahead and throw that in there.
So money line, Texas plus 100.
You know what? And I just want to see what that was. Do this for me. For this, I'm going to do a parlay. So my single game bet is going to be Texas money line. But what I want to do is, no, we will do this. We're going to take Texas money line. I then also want to take Kentucky money line. Let me know what's the money line on that.
You doing these individuals?
No, this is going to be a parlay.
Doing these
my number 1 single bet of the day is probably going to be Texas, and then maybe tweaking it up, being that we're getting a point, maybe just getting it to plus 3.5 just to be safe. If they happen to lose by the kick, the field goal at the end, I'm always trying to doing that. So that would be my single game bet. But for this parlay, I want to take Texas money line, Kentucky money line. Let me know what that's looking like.
Okay, let's see. Kentucky money line minus 350 on that. 10 pays 25.71 for a 2-leg parlay.
All right, so let me put $100 on Kentucky and Texas money line.
Okay.
You got live action, boys and girls here.
There you go, 100 to win 157.
Okay, so we got a double up here.
Plus your 100
now,
back.
Mike, I want to do one more. I want to take Texas plus 3.5. So we're going to tweak that by a couple points on the spread.
Texas. Okay, let's see. Let's go to Texas here. Ohio State. Let's go to the spread. You want Texas plus 2.5?
Texas plus 3.5. I want to buy a couple
plus
points.
Plus 3.5. Okay, minus 150 for that.
That's fine. And then I want to take that with Kentucky money line.
Okay, let me go back to Kentucky. Let's see. Again, money line minus 350. Your 2-leg is plus 114. 10 pays 20.
And then my other play of the day, go ahead and give me Alabama minus 13.5 versus Florida State, which we briefly touched on earlier. 3-leg parlay.
Alabama.
And also, I love to know what the line is now. I could look it up too on what the actual spread on that is currently.
Right now, it's 13.5.
So give me Bama minus 13.5.
Right? So Bama,
Texas, Kentucky, 3-leg
10
parlay.
pays 40.
We're gonna go ahead and put $50
plus
on that.
306.
$50.
Okay.
We'll save the rest of the change for the afternoon slate. But yeah, there's your 3-team pick today. We're going Texas money line, Kentucky money line, and Bama minus 13.5 to cover 2 touchdowns against Florida State, the Seminoles. Mike, what's your thoughts on that bet? And then I do want to ask you about some of the other games on the slate here.
I don't mind that bet. I mean, I think the biggest thing that people think about, we always talk about this, right? Right? Do you bet 3 single games? Do you do a 3 parlay? Like your parlay wasn't bad. I mean, but think about it. Your number 1 pick had it there, and that's seemingly week 1 is tough. So I mean, I might have made these in straight and tried to win the 3, but the parlay, we're going to cross our fingers and ride it.
That's right. It's for a minimal amount of money. I mean, not that $100 is nothing, but on the show it is. So let's be honest. We're just trying to build up some ammunition. Yeah. But one game, hey, I did want to ask you about one game. Well, actually 2 games, and then I know we have to jump off because it's 12 o'clock, so we are getting ready to watch. We've been out here for about 30 minutes. We currently have 140 people watching live, so thank you for that. And we do have a quick announcement to make. Yeah, as we wrap up this first kind of quick deep dive of the college games for this week, I want you to think about, Mike, the Syracuse game real quick. And look this up. So Syracuse, we have, I think, Tennessee. Tennessee, last I saw, is giving 14. It's at Syracuse, and that's a whole heart pick. My heart says to take Cuse with the points. My head says to give the points with Tennessee. Again, it's week 0. So love to hear what your thoughts are about that game. And then also the other game that I liked on the periphery was Maryland giving also 2 touchdowns in their matchup. And let me just quickly look that up. I want to put you on the spot here. But yeah, so right now, so majority of the public is on Tennessee. Go ahead.
I would assume the majority should be on Tennessee. I mean, I'm not a Cuse fan. It hurts your feelings, and I know we go back and forth in the ACC, but I don't know, man. Syracuse, to me, basketball school. They should just show up and lay down for these guys. So I want to see Tennessee. I like Orange. I like going back to the old Tennessee players. I think Tennessee might have the right orange.
I'm guessing so. It's going to be Cuse in the white unis or the blue unis in Tennessee, and I think are they home orange? I'm not sure. That'll be interesting. Both teams orange. And they just went live. Maryland now, as it's gone live, Maryland plus 14.5 at home, opening their season against Florida Atlantic, FAU. I like Maryland. I think this is a game I would give both Tennessee giving the 13.5 and Maryland giving 14.5, both at home against lesser opponents. Although FAU's been a solid team, in their humble conference that they're in. I believe they're in the Sun Belt. I forget, but a smaller conference. Maryland's been a decent team as of late. Last season or so, 2 years, they've been competent. I think that they will cover. That'll be a tough game. Both those games are close. So I wanted to see if you had any insight. But before we jump off, I do want to give a quick announcement. So shout out to Built in Buffalo. We recently had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Dave Myers over at Built in Buffalo, who kind of runs the show. And we are excited to announce that starting next week, Friday, around the dinner hour. So we're going to nail down a time this week leading into it. But NFL Week 1, we are going to be streaming live every Friday, starting next Friday, giving your top plays, both college and NFL. If you followed us, you remember we had the show Summit Sports Live last year. This is The Line is Hot, part of Summit Sports Live. So you'll be seeing us and be able to catch us live across the Built in Buffalo platform. So thank you to those guys for believing in us and allowing us to produce some great content. But you'll be able to catch us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, across the Built in Buffalo platform. A ton of followers, so we're excited for the opportunity. But yeah, Mike, with all that being said, I hope you're excited to get things started. And take us out.
I am, but are we going to tease out our teammates?
All right, say it again. Our what?
Are we going to tease out our show teammates?
Yeah. Most people probably know a couple of them, but yeah, go right ahead.
All right. Well, we got Evan Moneyball Marsh. He is a Georgia Bulldog current player. Current player in the betting
marketing
world,
major.
Right? He's an analytics
in the minor
guy.
Sports betting.
Marketing.
Analytics.
Yes. So we've got a real good analytics team behind us. And we also have Sean's very, very, very good and a Buffalo favorite, Marcus the Hybrid Doughton, is going to be live with us weekly. So tune in and place your bets.
Place your bets. Good luck to everybody on this quick show. Thank you, everybody who hopped in. Let's make some money, and we will see you guys next week. And be sure to Mike, can you give the people the email address for people want to ask any questions in regard to betting? Our show will also be covering a bit of fantasy sports as well at times. So if you have any questions related to sports betting, fantasy, send them in. Mike, what's the email? Do you have it off the top of your head?
So it's it's Summit Sports Live at Gmail. We will have a weekly email segment. Send in your questions. We'll answer them for you.
Well, there you go, everybody. Well, good luck to everybody who's playing. Go to, obviously Georgia, Penn State. Have great games and enjoy everybody's first week of week 0 college football action. Football is back, rolling right into the NFL. So good luck on your bets. Again, if you didn't hear us earlier, we're on Kentucky money line. We are on Texas money line with the big Arch Manning national stage arrival. And then we also have Alabama giving 13.5 against Florida State. That'll do it for this week. Tune in next week, and we will talk to you guys shortly. Cheers.